Maybe the truth is, my entire life I've been exhausted. And I'm only realizing it now because I no longer am. I know what it feels like to be so depleted, to stop caring, not about work, not about people, but ourselves, about the possibilities, about hope that something better is awaiting us, about the possibility of anything feeling different. I know what it's like to give everything you can, everything that you have, and then give more until there's nothing left. And I want to talk about it. I want to tell you my story, not because I have it figured out, but because I think you might see yourself in it. And I think that matters. So stay with me. We are exhausted from searching for the answers, from the latest hacks, the latest protocols and 10-step plans, from the latest person telling us what we should do, what we could do, and how we can do it differently. We're exhausted from not trusting ourselves. We're exhausted from knowing what we need in our guts and making excuses for ourselves and everybody else. We're exhausted from our own BS, and we can't escape the constant influx of information coming at us all day from every direction. News, media, social media, our inboxes filled with the latest products, all at prices that we can't afford. And before we've even gotten out of bed in the morning, before we put our feet on the floor, the world is already spinning in our heads. There's an exhaustion of overgiving, being the strong one, the reliable one, the one that everybody comes to because you won't say no. There's the exhaustion of performing, always being on, and walking into any room and being exactly what everybody in that room needs, and coming home completely hollow and depleted, and wondering why there's nothing left for ourselves. There's the exhaustion of being the last one on our lists, running on empty, never filling our cup, giving to everyone around us so wholeheartedly and so completely, and having nothing left for ourselves. And perhaps not even being on our own list of people to take care of. And underneath it all, the loneliness. Because we never told anybody we needed anything. We're the strong one, the reliable one. We're the one that doesn't fall apart. And if you're nodding your head right now, I see you. I learned at a very early age that it was my job to take care of everyone. I didn't choose it. It was handed to me. And before I even knew it, I grew up with it. It's who I became. And it was too late to notice it or change it. I spent my teenage years running, resisting, like all teenagers. I was angry. I didn't want to wear the identity that was given to me by family, by society, by the role I was handed in my family. And that anger, that resistance was healthy. It was me saying, this doesn't fit me, and I don't want to wear this, but I didn't know how to articulate it. I was just angry, and I didn't know how to put it down, so I carried it. I carried that identity into every room I walked into. But I was always a seeker, looking for answers. I remember when I was 16, I picked up a Bible because I wanted to understand why the people around me, people in the world, were the way they were. And I read that Bible at the very beginning, line by line, trying to understand. And I got to a part where someone was like 900 years old, and I said, you know what, this isn't it. But the looking didn't stop. The seeking never stopped. My search eventually led me to Bhakti Yoga, a philosophy a philosophy that said a broken heart pours love, and that we each are born and created from love. Love is creation, and nothing is created without love. It's at the very essence of who we are. And our mission in this life is to give and receive love freely. And maybe I was a broken person learning to love without fear. And in that seeking, the most alive I ever felt. And then I began teaching Bhakti Yoga. It was beautiful, sharing what I had learned and sharing how it had helped me, the path. See, yoga isn't putting your foot behind your head. It's learning how to live a daily happy life. And in those rooms where I was teaching, there were times that I felt like I became a conduit. That what I had learned was coming into me and out. It was coming through me, but along the way, I gave the map away to those I was sharing the path with. And I stopped feeling plugged in, like an electrical device not plugged into the wall, not refueling, not recharging, just going through the motions of something that used to light me up. What it cost me wasn't dramatic. It was the slow, gradual disappearance of the things that were once just mine, quietly died. Hobbies and adventures, the ordinary texture of everyday life, gone. Not all at once, but so gradually that one day I looked up and finally noticed that there was nothing left that belonged to just me. I was teaching people how to live, and I didn't have a life of my own. On my days off, I was so depleted and so exhausted. There were days that I elected as pajama days, where I would zone out in the house and just be quiet and just want to be left alone. And then my mind would spin, that creative part of me. What could I create? What could I change or improve? A new workshop, a new program, a new schedule. See, I was so physically depleted, but my mind would spin because I couldn't settle down. I couldn't be still. That wasn't rest. That was collapse. There's a difference. Rest refills you. Collapse just suspends the depletion for tomorrow. This didn't happen in a vacuum. We were all handed a system. We were all handed something before we were old enough to choose it. A role in our families, messages about what a good woman does, what she tolerates, what she never complains about. We didn't question it. We just became it. Social media is the latest delivery mechanism for the messages we were handed as children. You are not enough as you are. Curated, filtered, aesthetically perfect. People's highlighted reels running on loop, aesthetically perfect, while we sit in our ordinary clothes and our ordinary lives and our ordinary homes on an ordinary Tuesday, wondering why our lives don't look like that. Nobody's posting about quiet mornings. Nobody's posting about an ordinary morning cup of coffee. Ordinary doesn't sell, and being enough doesn't move product. And so this version of life, it gets amplified and it becomes the standard. And everything that doesn't measure up becomes invisible, including you, including me, including every woman sitting at home, absorbing it all. I don't need a scientific study to tell me what I feel in my gut. I taught women for 15 years. They walked through my door every single day, sharing with me their secrets, the secret grief, the stories of their lives, their exhaustion, their depletion. For over 15 years, I taught and shared this practice with hundreds and hundreds of women, thousands in fact. And one thing I can say with confidence is we're all exhausted, and we have been for a very long time. You see, all that bombardment, the system and the protocols and the places we stand in our families, and the identity that we've been handed, and the expectations of society, it's all a big sales pitch. It's all do this, buy this, and feel better, be better. But here's the thing. You can't convince a woman to be or buy anything if she's already enough. Now, I'm not going to give you a productivity hack or an optimization program. That's not what this is about. You're already exhausted from it. You don't need another thing added to your list. What I can tell you is what I finally understood. I just stopped pretending to myself. That was the beginning. Honesty doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's a quiet decision to stop pretending. I stopped being the last person on my list. Not because someone told me to, because I saw finally what being last on my list cost me, and I decided I deserved better. It started slowly. Some days were better than others. Some days were really hard. I started being my own best friend. I started checking in with myself and asking myself, what do I need? Before I allowed the world to ask what it needed from me. And I decided to give myself the same grace that I gave everybody else so freely and for so many years. My life now is quiet and peaceful, uneventful. And some might say, even I would have said at one time, that sounds boring, but it's not. Quiet is where I found myself. And it took me a long time to find that stillness and that quiet, just to be with me. These days, I wake up in the morning and no rush. And I have my cup of coffee, the sun rising and the birds singing outside before my husband wakes up and before the world and the day gets busy. That's my opportunity to sit quietly with myself. No devices, no music, just quiet. And in that stillness, I connect to me. I plug in and I refuel. And I'll be honest with you about what that actually means, because it's not all gratitude and grace. It's in those mornings that I see my own shortcomings and failings. I see my own excuses. I see the way I still avoid things and the patterns that I default to. That's the challenge. That's the truth that I no longer run and hide from. I'm not on my phone. I'm not scrolling. I'm not comparing my ordinary Tuesday to somebody's curated Saturday, because I know how that feels in my body, and I choose differently. These days, I choose to say no. No to anything that exhausts me, anything that doesn't refuel me. And I don't apologize for it. I don't make excuses, because I know I deserve the same respect I give others. Ordinary is enough. This morning is enough, and I am enough. I spent years pouring love into everyone around me and wondering why I felt empty. The answer was simple, but it took me 55 years. It was because I wasn't giving myself the love I deserved. I wasn't being my own best friend. And somewhere underneath all that exhaustion is the real story. That's the next conversation, and I'll see you there. And if you've been exhausted your whole life too, and you didn't have a name for it, I see you. I might still be you on the hard days, but I'm also proof that you can get to the other side. And finally, meet yourself there. We're all just children walking each other home. Let's learn and grow with each other.